All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. It should be a fantastic one here, and it's actually going to be multiple 1 versus 1 replay casts. This is another series from the IEM PvZ 2019 tournament. For those of you that don't know, just the best Starcraft 2 tournament of the year. I don't care what anyone says. And so basically, yeah, we've got ourselves what should be a high-level Protoss versus Zerg. I feel like it's been a while since I cast one of these for my channel, so we're going to be casting a best of 3. There could be at least potential 3 matches. The winner needs to win 2 of them. And spawning down the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's Leenock. And his opponent in the top right, oh, very, very famous. It's sOs. As far as StarCraft 2 players go, sOs is a pretty well-known Protoss, winning the global finals twice. That's no small task, that's for sure. And now we'll see how he's going to do versus someone like Leenock. Leenock and sOs, the two of them. When I talk about StarCraft 2 players, I'm a big fan. I've followed this game for quite a while. So you players sort of have habits and tendencies. And as far as these two players go, they're a little bit more on the unpredictable side. There's no doubt about that. sOs is basically the wild card of StarCraft 2. He's going in with a probe scout. Now throws up a pylon next to Leenock's hatchery. I imagine that's likely just to try and freak out Leenock. It's not like he has a forge or anything on the way, so Leenock just reacting to that, being like, really, you're building a pylon next to my nexus, or next to my hatchery, pardon me. Why you gotta be like this, sOs? And sOs cancels it. So he forced the drone pull. 25 minerals, and to deny drones mining for a little bit. That's a bit of an interesting trade there, but probably worked out decent for sOs, I guess. Leenock not taking any chances, although at the back of this, everything is completely standard so far. We've got the gateway, the cyber core, the nexus on the way. Check, 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 all just for standard opening for Protoss. And then we'll see what sOs is going to throw down next, because Protoss, you can sometimes predict what a player is going to do. sOs, I'm not even really going to try. He's one of those wild card players, as I said. Just plays completely chaotic. Now, we've got a sentry on the way for sOs, whereas Leenock is getting up towards his 3rd hatchery, so a pretty normal Protoss versus Zerg to start things off in the first game of this best of 3. Well, the sentry is a little bit unusual for sOs. It allows you to get that hallucination a little bit earlier, I suppose, get a scout off in that regard. Makes me think sOs might be going to skip a Stargate. As I say that, he throws up a Twilight Council. And, yeah, basically the Stargate is usually what you want for scouting. A sentry, though, can also get the job done. Now, Leenock on his side of the map, just not doing too much here. Just getting his hatchery up, squeezing out drones, couple lings, Zergling speed on the way. Something to note for what Leenock's doing is that Leenock is still mining out of his gas fully here. Some Zerg players, when they finish up their Zergling speed, they'll start mining with their, well, they'll just mine with 1 drone, basically. So Leenock's still wanting to keep that gas income up. Already has a lair on the way. So going to be getting out a fairly quick tech. 3 minutes for a lair. Got a lair, a 3rd hatchery up. sOs has a hallucinated Phoenix coming on in here. We'll see if it scouts that lair. Scouts the drones on gas. Looks like it is going to come on in. See everything that really sOs wants to see right now. Knowing that it's probably not going to be a Ling Flood, something like that. Okay, since the Zerg has gone for a lair, you don't generally need a lair to go for, say, mass Zergling. So sOs able to sort of check off one thing that's probably not coming his way. As this game is going on, though, it looks like sOs has a pretty scary plan in mind. He's going to be going for a big old charge lot all-in from the scheme of things. Now, this is a build that was fairly common for a while, and it's still brought out by Protoss here and there. As I say that, though, he throws up a Dark Shrine behind this. I was wondering what he was still mining gas for. sOs, so he's getting up a few gateways here. He's getting up Charge, and then a Dark Shrine. And this basically is so that you can warp in a ton of Zealots. As I say that, though, sOs is only on 3 gateways. So getting up Zealot, Charge, and then a Dark Shrine. This is a bit of an interesting way of going about things as a Protoss. We might not even make it to sOs attacking his opponent, though. He's going to be going up against a Nidus. That very quick lair is something that Leenock brought out. We now see an Overseer crossing the map. I'm not sure if sOs spotted that. I think he might just have done. Is he going to be able to do anything about this, though? This could be heading into a bit of a crazy base trade right now. A Nidus is going to be going up. sOs has made 2 Warp Prisms, so he spots the Nidus with the second one. However, as I say that, I think sOs could just be in a lot of trouble right now. Lings are working away on the front. They catch the Stalker. sOs was planning to go for this attack on his opponent. However, Leenock was just like, no, I'm going to be attacking you as well. So we're going into a bit of a base trade at this point. Leenock even bringing the Queens, all the Lings in here. And I'm a little bit concerned for the Protoss player. sOs doesn't have a lot going for him. The Dark Shrine going to be useless since there's an Overseer, and all the gateways are going to be unpowered. That's my main concern. Lings are in the natural. sOs is going for an attack with the charge lots, but it's been cleaned up. It's looking like Leenock has taken the first game here. I don't think there's anything that sOs can do versus this. The one Immortal's trying his darndest to hold on, but there's just not a lot for sOs. The worker count's still relatively even if he can somehow pull a miracle hold, but look at all those Zerglings spilling out of that Nidus there. And that's looking rather disastrous for the Protoss player. sOs, yeah, he warped in a couple more Zealots at DT, but it's not enough. Leenock takes game number 1. And as I said before, for those of you unfamiliar with this format, I said it's a best of 3, so these guys are going to be playing at least 3 games, or at least 2 games, pardon me. Leenock just needs to win 1 more, and we'll see if sOs can take it. I didn't watch this series. I know IEM was a highly watched tournament, and that's why I generally shy away from those tournaments. Uh-oh, didn't mean for you guys to see that. Hopefully you didn't. Don't go back in the video. But as I was saying, it's a highly watched tournament. So I know I always feel you guys can maybe give me some insight into this in the comments. I know that a lot of people who watch Starcraft 2, they don't watch like all the big tournaments and such. However, I know as a fan, if I say watch a tournament, I'm not going to want to watch someone else go and cast the replays. That's why I generally try and cast some of the games that aren't necessarily as watched, perhaps. So I just try, and also the games that are just interesting to me. That's the main point. So I'm probably not going to cast like a round of 4 ZVZ or something. But, just because it's already been watched by a lot of people, and then I don't have a lot to add to say that ZVZ. This PvZ that was interesting so far. sOs crosses the map with his probe right out the gate. And that probe just trying to deny the hatchery, going up for Leenock. Leenock, though, started off with a spawning pool already. So sOs is going to be aware of that, or he should be, right? No, he didn't actually see the spawning pool. He saw the gas, and that was probably enough. So sOs knows that Leenock's going to be bringing out a bit of an aggressive build here. The probe's still just hanging around, going to try and delay this hatchery. And there we go. sOs goes for a pylon block. So the thing about this build is that Leenock delays his hatchery because he wants to get out a quick spawning pool here. However, since his hatchery is delayed, that allows sOs's probe the option to, say, do something like drop a pylon, still continuously blocking this hatchery. Leenock wants to expand. He finally gets it up, but he had to start his queen, his lings. So it's not a good macro opening for Leenock. It's a fairly big commitment here, the fact that he's made 6 lings. sOs in the face of this, very, very ballsy here, actually. Just throws up a nexus, throws up a pylon on the low ground, and hasn't started making anything yet. So these lings are going to be crossing the map for Leenock. sOs, I imagine, going to be chrono boosting out an adept. There we see it. And 1 adept is pretty darn good versus lings. Might need to pull a few probes or something to deal with this. It's all going to come down to the control. Leenock, though, it's important to note, it's not like he's rallying more and more Zerglings across the map. He's just going into drones behind this. Whether he'll get anything to pay off for this early pool, it looks like he'll find a pylon to start things off. The Ling is going to make a run for it, though they're afraid of this adept, and they'll just have to back on out of there. So sOs loses a pylon. Got to be careful with this adept. Almost gets surrounded by Leenock there. Playing with fire, chasing after those lings. Of course, ling speed is a ways off, so they're not the most useful unit in the world until they have that ling speed. Hatchery goes on up for Leenock. Queen coming on out, getting that inject off. Leenock just going to try and have to macro his way out of this. He doesn't have much of a choice. As I say that, though, oh god. I heard about it. I said I haven't cast a lot of PvZs, but I pay attention to the Twitter. I pay attention to the Reddit and stuff. And one thing that gets mentioned a lot is the Nidus. And Leenock, he took the last game pretty convincingly with that Nidus. We'll see if he's going to try it again versus sOs. The fact that he just went for another 3-minute lair makes me think that it's probably going to be yes. So SOS will see. I mean, there's a chance that it's not going to be a lair. We'll see what build he's going to be going for this game. The Phoenix is going to fly in, checks the natural, no sign of a lair just yet. The Phoenix needs to see that, and it does see that there's a lair. Not going to be around to scout out a potential Nidus or anything like that. However, look at this, Leenock just churning out more and more Zerglings here. He is not making drones. We should be seeing a Nidus network go up pretty soon. And SOS, I have a feeling that he's probably pretty aware that this is going to be coming his way, that Nidus is on the way. As I say that, though, SOS moving out on the map with his sentries. Good force fields, keeps those lings off him. He may lose a sentry or two, though. Might just have stepped a little bit too far off. Yeah, SOS moves out, has to recall those sentries sort of derping there within their own force fields. So loses a sentry, or actually 2 sentries have gone down for a fair few lings. Now, the thing is, SOS, he needs to be prepared for this Nidus when it eventually gets called in, because Leenock's going for it, and he really needs to shut this down before it comes in. He's got 4 stalkers, so he should be prepared. But look at this, Leenock has no shame. He just says, I'm gonna Nidus you, but SOS with the 4 stalkers should be enough to pick this off. Leenock queues up another Nidus, but you can't do that while one's building, so that Nidus gets shut down. SOS now got to play this sort of back and forth game in which he tries to pick off these Nidus before they get out, because if it does get out, SOS very well may still be in a lot of trouble. It looks like he's gonna deny this, though. There we go, that Nidus, it does get picked off. A couple of queens make it out. However, these queens got to get picked off, so Leenock, the queens drop a creep tumor, they're getting picked off. And Leenock starts another Nidus up north here. We'll see. This one's going to finish, so the lings will be able to get out of this one. The question is there enough of them? There's 37 lings, and that's a fair few lings at this stage in the game. Look at this. Good force fields from SOS. Leenock really can't engage into this, and SOS is just confident enough to take this on. The lings are trying to get us around. Good force fields, so preventing those lings from getting the surface area they want, and the lings are just wearing thin. GG, SOS holds the game number 2 Nidus. And we'll get on into the next game, guys. No time to waste. This is what I like. Okay, you guys may be like, a Nidus game, really? This is what I like about those. I'm going to be honest, this is what I like about casting these best of 3s. As, just ignore that in case you guys saw that. I should have said look away or whatever. You might have seen the game time. I didn't actually see it. I wasn't looking. I don't know about you guys. So we've got ourselves a 1-to-1 Protoss versus Zerg, and as I was saying, I really like casting these best of 3s because when I go just to cast one replay or something, I'm not going to cast like a small... I'm going to go a little bit into detail about how I choose games to cast. I'm not going to cast like a small replay that's a very small file size. I'll be like, oh, that's probably a 2 Rex or something like that, or say just like a 12 pool, something like that, that ends the game very quickly. So I'm not going to cast something like that. However, when it comes to a best of 3, it's like, okay, 1 or 2 of the games can be shorter. In this case, so far, 2 of them have been shorter games. And that's fine, because I'm going to be casting multiple. I don't have to worry about just uploading like a 3-minute YouTube video or something. Now, SOS coming on in here with his probe, once again, right out the gate, wanting to block Leenock. Leenock, though, going for that spawning pool once again. Are we going to see 3 Niduses in a row? Because this is opening up exactly like the last game. SOS pylon blocks, prevents the hatchery from going down. We'll see if he lets it finish this time. SOS does cancel it, though. Wants to be able to get up his cyber core right out the gate. Needs those minerals. And something that's really interesting about how SOS is playing, he hasn't gone for a wall up in like his main base. So SOS is so confident, or just, I don't know what to call it, but SOS not going for a wall versus Zerg, and that's generally Zerg, or playing versus Zerg 101. You're like, all right, I need to make sure that these lings aren't going to get into my base early on if the Zerg cheeses me, and SOS just says, let them come here. Now, here they go. These lings are going to be crossing the map. That probe just hanging around, maybe going to run off to the side. Lings and probes, for those of you that don't know, lings are just slightly faster than the average worker. Let's see, movement speed 4.31. I don't know the exact values, but 3.94. As far as relativity goes, those two are pretty darn close, so that's why it takes lings a long time to chase down a worker. Now, SOS is coming in with his probe, wanting to see if there's, say, more lings on the way. The probe gets away from that queen. Here comes in those lings, though. The adept comes down. Leenock microing the lings this time. Adept is working away on them, though, so looks like 2 of those Lings going to go down. One of them makes a run into the main base. Not going to see anything just yet, but Leenock approaching this situation a little bit different than the last game. sOs did lose his pylon again. He started up another, though. His Nexus is going to be finishing up, so we'll have that to give him some supply. And he goes for a sentry once again, so we'll see how sOs is going to open up this game. He didn't really commit to any specific tech in that last game. It was really all about holding those Nidus, which he did with just gateway units and stalkers. Well, just gateway units, Adept, Zealots, Stalkers, just in order to pick off that Nidus quickly. Now, Leenock, he has gone for a third base here. We'll see if he's still mining the gas, and it looks like he is not. So Leenock probably not going to be going for that Nidus once again. The Nidus are pretty common, so that's probably a wise move from Leenock, just not being that predictable. Ling's chasing this probe that they found here. Looks like they'll be able to pick it off. That poor probe was running all around the map. Now we see Queen on the way for Leenock. Nothing out of the ordinary this game. We're entering a pretty standard PvZ, and as far as out of the ordinary goes, we haven't seen anything ordinary or unordinary from sOs, which I guess in a sense is unordinary. We haven't seen a Twilight Council. We haven't seen a Stargate. sOs is just making a lot of sentries here, and that's very bizarre as far as everything's considered. Maybe he's just gonna throw up a third Nexus or something with all these sentries to support it, because sOs just gonna be moving out on the map with a couple of sentries. Like this is a fake out. There's no doubt about that. But generally when you go for a fake out, you go for something else behind it. So sOs, he's got a Forge on the way next, but no Robo, no Twilight, no Stargate on the way just yet. And so this is a little bit bizarre. He's moving out with 4 sentries, an Adept, a Stalker, 2 more Adepts in tow. This is one weird attack. Leenock forced to make out a couple of Lings, and there we go. sOs finally throws up a Robo. He's a weird player, guys. I think most people know that at this point. We'll see if this Queen is going to get caught by sOs. A lot of Lings are coming on in here. Force field should be going down, and then I imagine the recall will be used relatively soon as far as these force fields go ahead and expire. Queens are engaging with these units. Couple of drones get picked off. Looks like the 2 Adepts actually shaded into the main base, so they get 4 drones in total. Can sOs get a 5th? Yes, he can. So a nice bit of damage there. And sOs now behind this, getting up his Robo, getting up his +1. Everything's still a little bit delayed, which is somewhat odd. We'll see what he's going to go for next, moving out across the map with 2 more Adepts, it would seem. They're shading. They're going to run into all those Lings if sOs isn't careful. He cancels the shade, though. Wants to get back into that wall. And behind this, we see Leenock. He's making 5 roaches. These are the safety roaches because he's still not sure what sOs is doing. That move out was not a standard PvZ move out. And sOs, he's not making any Immortals or anything just yet. He's making a Warp Prism. We'll see what he's going to do. +1 on the way. He's getting a Twilight Council, so most likely going to be Blinker Charge. We can't rule out DTs, though. Can't rule out anything when we're commentating sOs. We see these Lings for Leenock are still sharking around the map. Looks like a hallucinated Phoenix, just keeping tabs on the situation. And now the third base, going to be going up for sOs, it would seem. So a very, very odd opening for the Protoss player. That third Nexus is going to be getting dropped relatively soon. These Lings are coming on in. That Nexus not going to be getting started, though, as Leenock manages to pick off that probe, so delaying that possibly a little bit more. As far as we know, though, it could just be a fake out from sOs, who's got this Prism. Looks like he's going to be going for a bit of aggression right now. No third base starting just yet. There we go for sOs. Delayed that a little bit. Here comes in a lot of Lings for Leenock. These units got to force field them in to be safe. Although Leenock, with all these Lings and Ravagers that he has made, he's actually able to cancel that base. Looks like the couple of Adepts getting surrounded here. Leenock is pushing hard on the gas right now. He's made a lot of Ravagers. He's got a ton of Lings at the front here. Corrosive Bow working away on this wall. Shield Battery goes down. The Immortal stepping forward. There's an Archon out for sOs. He just needs everything that he can. His unit composition isn't bad versus Ling Ravager over Leenock. Just being very patient right now. sOs's build has been very weird this game, and he's investing in +2. He's going to have charge relatively soon, but his third base was delayed. He's got these sentries, though. It's possible he can force field in this army. He has pushed Leenock back home. That being said, SOS is a 2-base Protoss versus a 3-base Zerg, who's can always drone up. SOS warped in a couple more adepts from the seam of things. One of them shades towards that natural. Everything being cleaned up, though. Picks off a few more drones. So SOS has been getting his licks in this game. Nothing too significant, though. And still a very odd build from the Protoss player. He's trying to get up his 3rd base now. Really just in uncharted territory for both players. This is not a usual Protoss versus Zerg situation. Leenock's answer to that, though, seems like he's probably going to be planning to kill SOS, though. He's making 14 more Roaches, more Ravagers on the way. Maybe he'll just be defensive and expects SOS to move out. However, SOS does want to get up that 3rd base. He's trying it again. Warping in more Zealots, warping in more Archons. He's got more Immortals coming on out. So SOS's army is not bad. Archons, Immortals, and Charge Lots versus Ling, Roach, Ravager. Not the worst thing in the world for the Protoss player. Here we see this Warp Prism flying on over. SOS probably going to bring that to reinforce in this main fight because he is moving out on the map. And Leenock, I mean, Leenock has just been sort of sensing this from the get-go as he's only on 52 workers for a Zerg. You may be saying that's a pretty low number of workers, but he's just been making units non-stop. He's very far ahead in the supply as he knows that he just needs to hold on versus SOS. If SOS was just macroing up behind this, he might be in a better situation, but Leenock, no, he's just turned things on his head. SOS comes his way. Leenock just says, nope, I'll go your way if you're not coming to attack me. So the 3rd base for SOS, it's going to be getting up, but can he hold on to it? That's the question. So many Roaches and Ravagers here. There's +1, +2 actually for SOS done, so he's got a nice upgrade lead. There is just so many Roaches, though. SOS going to have to warp in more Sentries, more Zealots to buffer for this army. The Immortals and Archons deal a lot of damage to these Roaches, so if the Roaches do have pretty good mobility compared to this army, as it just spills forward, the Zealots have to buffer. The Roaches able to pick off units here. The Immortals putting out a lot of damage. Archon's starting to get picked off. The Prism isn't here. I believe that may have gone down. I'm not sure. No, it's just not over on this side of the map. So SOS doesn't have that to juggle his high-value Immortals and Archons right now. The Immortals are putting out a ton of damage. However, there's just so much Zerg here. SOS may need to abandon this location. The Immortals are still there. They can put out the damage if an adequate buffer is still around. However, that buffer's wearing really thin. SOS is doing the best he can to dodge these corrosive files. The Roaches are stepping forward, though, getting on top of the Immortals right now. They're starting to fall. Only 2 Immortals left. They're still putting out so much damage, but there's just so much Zerg here. For Leenock, the Immortals, they put out so much damage. They're annihilating the Roaches. However, the Roaches starting to pick off those Immortals. They retreat to a shield battery, staying alive a little bit longer. More Zealots, even a Sentry being warped in. The Sentry gets hit by a corrosive bile, though. The unit count is falling on both sides. The Prism finally comes back. It could have been helping juggle those units all along, but Leenock, just with his reinforcements, it's looking like it may be a little bit too much. The worker count is still pretty even, but the 3rd base of SOS is being sacked. It's now up to this 1 Immortal and a couple of Charge Lots to make this happen. SOS is going to have another Immortal out in a second here. However, he's already lost so many. He's using that Prism to juggle these Immortals, but there's just not a lot else going on for the Protoss player right now. These Immortals have to do a ton of work if they want to hold on. The Sentries is out. It can, I don't know, maybe it can drop a force field or something. SOS trying to juggle these Immortals, and he's doing just that. However, it's just not enough. GG gets called. Leenock managed to take the series 2-1. Here, there we go. We updated that. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this cast, make sure to hit that like button. This was a bit of a different thing, just casting one of those best of 3s. I may do a few more from IEM, just it really depends what replays and stuff are out there. And if you guys did enjoy this cast, though, make sure to hit that like button. Otherwise, if you're new to the channel and you happen to be checking this out, feel free to hit that subscribe button. You can check out the videos there and see I put out a fair bit of content, so there's going to be more coming, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.